day one. It is Tuesday, so it's 5 a.m. again. Morning. So it is day one of my 5 a.m. challenge. Courtesy of the wee miss, I have been up since 4:30 because she got hungry. She only finished feeding a few minutes ago, and fingers crossed that I don't get recalled by the husband upstairs if she kicks off, because she decided that she was no longer tired and did not want to go back to sleep, so she is currently wide awake. She's usually pretty good at going back down in her cot if it's this early in the morning and letting us get a little bit more sleep, so I'm hoping that she will do the same this morning. I have picked a whip to work on for my 1 hour. Yeah, fingers crossed that I get to use the whole hour to my benefit. So my 5 a.m. start this morning was a disaster. Whilst this little one here had kindly woken me up so that I was awake well in advance of my alarm, which I don't hold against her at all, she lasted a whole 15 minutes of being awake in her cot going, "Oh, where's mummy?" before she kicked off screaming and I had to go running. At which point I calmed her down by giving her some more milk, and she stayed wide awake and wouldn't let me leave the room. So I was a bit naughty and went back to bed because it was that or bring her downstairs and, in a zombified state, play games for the next hour when I could be sleeping. So yes, so I got a little bit of extra sleep, and we'll try again tomorrow to get up at 5 a.m. and actually manage an hour's work before all of the kids wake up. Yeah, fingers crossed that that pans out. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Nicola and I am a crochet pattern designer. Unfortunately, this is my side hustle at the moment, and I am on maternity leave from the day job. So the reason that I wanted to try joining the 5 a.m. club is that I read a book, I think a couple of years ago now, called The 4% Fix, which was about reclaiming just 1 hour of your day and making it more productive. So swapping one of your less productive hours for an hour where you could be more productive. And it was up to you to decide where in the day that fit in, how that worked for you. But for me, getting up early, being a morning person at least before I had children, seemed a sensible way to go. So the hopes is that when I go back to work and I have less time to dedicate to my business, that I will get at least that 1 hour in the morning to focus on my business, to make sure that I'm still moving forwards, that I've still got the potential to grow, to put out new patterns, to do all of the things that I want to do to help my business succeed. Now, of course, it is very reliant upon this little person here, either being asleep or being happy between 5 and 6 a.m. so that I can do that work. But at least then I will have had that hour of work under my belt before I head off to the day job or do whatever else I'm doing that day. Therefore, if I have a bad day at work, or if I'm so exhausted when I come home that I just can't face doing anything, that I know I've at least had that 1 hour. I've achieved something towards my business that day, even if the rest of the day is spent on work and family. Which is absolutely fine, but I would like to not give up my business when I go back to work. I've kept it going 18 months already, and I'd like to keep it going and see it grow and get better and better. So the way that I've decided to approach this, so I watched the summary of the Atomic Habits book that somebody did on YouTube, because I am still waiting for my audiobook reservation copy so I can actually have a listen myself. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for me to stick to this habit, to ingrain this habit. So for starters, I'm getting everything that I can done the night before to encourage me to get up at 5 a.m. So I'm getting my crochet projects that I want to do sat out on the sofa, because that's where I like to crochet. I am starting this habit every day with crochet rather than, doing anything that's typing or a bit more involved, because crocheting is the bit that I find most enjoyable from my business. So it gives me that added incentive to get up. I'm putting a bottle of water there on the table so that I don't have to go into the kitchen, which lets the cats out and wakes everyone else up. I'm getting, my laptop fully charged so that I've got the pattern accessible that I'm crocheting. I'm trying to just make it as easy as possible once I roll out of bed to get into that crocheting kind of groove, I suppose. Additionally, I'm trying to make it harder for me to not do it. So for example, I'm once I've done my little bit of recording for this first week, putting my phone on the other side of the room so that I can't be distracted by scrolling on social media. I've told my husband what I'm doing so that he can help to encourage me and support me in getting this done. I'm basically just trying to do as many things as I can to make it easy to stick to this habit. And hopefully doing things like, pairing it with one of my favourite audiobooks will help again, just to get me going. At the moment, I'm listening to Undoctored by Adam Kay. So I've listened to his 2 previous books, found them absolutely hilarious, even if his sense of humour is a little bit dark and twisted at times. I think anybody who works for the NHS has to have a little bit of a dark sense of humour in order to survive the day-to-day job. But that's really fun to listen to at the moment. Wish me luck for preparations tonight and for trying again in the morning. Hi everyone, it is Tuesday. And as you can see, that is not the morning light of 5 a.m. So we had an epic fail this morning, a complete flop. So this one, unusually, decided to follow the same pattern as yesterday and wake up at 4:30 for a feed. Absolutely fine, I gave her a feed, 10 to 5, I put her back down. She is wide awake. So I decided to do something that is probably stupid for me, but hopefully good for her, I'll go back to sleep for the next 10 minutes, and when my alarm goes off, I'll sneak out of the room. Yeah, that did not work. She was still wide awake and just sat there staring at me. So because she's always happy for me to stay in the room, I elected to go back to sleep, because trying to sneak out of the room resulted in lots of grumbling, so I had to settle her again, and I didn't want the whole fiasco that we had yesterday to happen again, where her grumblings become outright indignation and my husband going, come help, because he doesn't have the ability to give her more milk to calm her down again. And he's already sleeping badly. I didn't want to make it worse. He'd already been up with the middle child, so I don't want to say I took one for the team, given that I got more sleep, which, is nice, but was not the goal. So the goal was to get up and be productive for an hour before the kids woke up. But, when you're a parent, you have to adapt, you have to go with whatever happens. And so we will try again tomorrow. It's 5 a.m. again, and I am ready to go with another crochet project. The last 3 days, just at the start of the week, I guess, have been a bit hit and miss. So on Thursday, I actually had a really lovely hour of crochet. I actually enjoyed just sitting in the silence crocheting, so I didn't even put my audiobook on, and I just found it so peaceful. I managed to finish a blanket square, start another one, so that was really nice. And I had that lovely feeling for the rest of the day that no matter what happened, even when I had little hiccups here and there, that I had got an hour of crochet in, that I had made some progress, which made me feel really nice. Thursday night, however, was a complete disaster. So the little one is teething. Didn't manage to actually get her to go to sleep until almost midnight, given that she then also woke up multiple times for comfort feeds. And I had to drive the kids to school on Friday morning. I did decide not to set my alarm for 5 a.m. And I don't regret that decision, because my sleep was awful and I spent all of Friday exhausted. Friday night managed to get her down a little bit earlier, get to bed at a decent time, and so I have managed to get up at 5 a.m. this morning, and fortunately she was not awake and so did allow me to leave the room. But I'm actually finding that because of trying to get up at 5 a.m. I'm being more, attempting, as far as what you can do when you've got a little baby, to be more consistent with what time I go to bed. And regardless of whether or not it actually works out quite how I'd hoped, and whether or not I do manage to get up at 5 a.m, I am finding that that's making me feel a little bit better than I was before, with the higgledy-piggledy kind of late nights whenever I had a deadline coming up. So hopefully I will be able to make this a regular habit. I know it's not good for habit formation to sort of pick and choose which days you actually try and get up at 5 a.m,
but I've only had, I think, one day so far this week where I've said, no, I'm definitely not doing it. I'm not even going to try. And I do feel great when I manage it. So let's see what tomorrow brings. Morning everyone, it is 5 a.m. again. I am fairly amazed that I managed to get myself down here this morning, given that she last woke up for a feed at 2 o'clock. I'm half expecting her to wake any minute requesting more food. So fingers crossed that I get more than 5 minutes to sit and crochet. I've got my project next to me ready to go. Hopefully it won't be the only little bit of work I get done today, but if it is, at least it's something. It means that I've still been productive, that I've taken a step forward, that I'm this much closer to finishing another pattern. So yeah, overall I think it's been a good week. I've not managed, as you know, every day, but I've managed the majority of days at least a little bit. And at the moment, given that I have a 6-month-old, I think that's all I can hope for. And I think it's enough. And I think it's enough that I'm going to keep trying to do this going forwards. So wish me luck.